I'm John Patrick, and today we're going to talk about lotteries. Lotteries. All of you played lotteries. Most of you played them. I'm going to show you how to manage your money. I'm going to show you how to reduce your chances of losing, talking about the lotteries. Now, most of you played them, and you've heard about the Pick 6, the Pick 3, the lotteries from the different states. And I think by the time we're done with this tape, you get an idea of what you're up against, the good points of playing the lottery or the lotto, or the bad points. We're going to concentrate mostly on the Pick 6 lotto, but we're going to touch on the daily three-number picks for you people that play that. We're at the Vital Products in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. They are the largest manufacturer of machines that handle the lotteries. You saw sort of different ones in the background here. You're going to ask, why am I talking about the lottery? I make my living gambling, professional gambler. And why would I play the lotto? I don't play it. I don't play the lottery. Now, why should I talk to you about it? Because I've studied it, and I want to show you the things that you're up against and the things in your favor, taking a chance to spend a buck and win $1 million, which is what most of you are interested in. I want you to understand about the odds. We're going to go over the odds of you winning. You're not going to like it. You're probably going to be bored. But I'll show it to you anyway. You can live through it. Also, understand one thing about the money you spend on it, $1. Well, it goes for good causes. They use the money for education, for senior citizens. So the amount of money you're going to receive back from your dollar is approximately 49 cents for every dollar. And you've got to understand that right in the beginning. Now, the odds are going to vary from state to state on these lotteries. And it's important that you know this because you can play legally from one state to another. You can live in New Jersey and make a bet on the Pennsylvania lottery. You can live in California and make a bet on the Florida lottery through agencies. They're called subscription agencies. And these agencies allow you to make these various bets on the different lottos, the ones that's in best for you. Now I put up on the screen the odds on these different Pick 6 lottos. I want you to take a look at them, and you don't have to memorize them, but put it in the back of your mind about what you're up against. Okay? Going to the chart, you'll see we started out with a Pick 5 game, the 535. That's because it offers the best odds of any lotto game available today. Still, the odds of picking 5 numbers out of 35 are over 324,000 to 1 against you. 324,000 to 1. Running down the list, we'll see the 636 lotto, which is available in quite a few states. The odds against winning the jackpot are almost 2 million to 1 against, and the odds of catching a second prize by picking 5 out of 6 are almost 11,000 to 1 against you. Skipping down to Lotto 640, it's 3,838,380 to 1 against you hitting the jackpot, and almost 19,000 to 1 against catching the second prize. Jumping down to the Lotto 71180. Here you have to pick any 7 numbers out of the 80 on the board. Every week 11 numbers are drawn, and any player who matches 7 numbers out of the 11 wins a jackpot or share of the jackpot. The odds get pretty steep here, over 9.5 million to 1, and second prize is just under 100,000 to 1. Going down to the Lotto 649. This lotto game accounts for some huge jackpots because they're so tough to win. As a result, you get a lot of carryovers, and the jackpots build up to the point where you're looking at a weekly drawing that's worth maybe $40 or $50 million to the winner. But as you might expect, the odds against you are pretty rough, almost 14 million to 1 against you. Finally, we get to Lotto 654 and Lotto 740, which is the Lotto America game conducted by a group of states, including Iowa, Missouri, Wisconsin, Kansas, Oregon, Rhode Island, West Virginia, and the District of Columbia, name just a few of them. This is one of the most difficult games you can play, with odds of 18.5 million to 1 against, based on twice weekly draws for the $1 ticket price. You get 2 shots at the prize every week for your buck, but it's also one of the most lucrative, with jackpots up in the 10 to 25 million, and that's pretty regular. Now let's start off with looking at the odds. For you people that like to shop around for best values, the odds are on your screen now. As a hypothetical example, let's compare 3 different lotteries. We'll take the Lotto 35, Lotto 649, and the Lotto 654. Okay, let's assume that the jackpot for the 535 lotto game is $500,000 for the next drawing. We take the projected jackpot and simply divide it by the odds of winning it. In this case, 500,000 divided by 324,632, which gives you a value of $1.54 on the dollar, assuming there's only one winner. Obviously, if 2 people hit the jackpot, your value is cut in half to 77 cents. You go through the same exercise for the 649 lottery. Let's say the jackpot was $4 million that particular week, and you get a value of 29 cents on the dollar. So this jackpot has to get up into the $16 million range before it starts to compare favorably with the average Lotto 535 pot. Lotto 654 is pretty much the same story as Lotto 649, because with 2 drawings a week, your odds come in at 12.9 million to 1 with a jackpot of 10 million, which is not uncommon. You're getting pretty close to 78 cents on the dollar, which is what you'd get most weeks in the 535 Lotto game with 2 winners. But you can use this example exercise to decide whether you want to play out-of-state lotteries or whether you want to play your own home state's lottery on a particular week. It's just another way of looking at the lottery a little smarter. Okay, you've seen the odds. But I want to show you some ways that you're going to reduce the odds against you. And it's going to improve your chances of winning. And it's going to be in a popular number theory. It's going to be in different systems that we're going to show you as we go along. First of all, I want to talk about this theory that some of you have about the balls being weighted. And we're going to turn these machines on in a second. But I want you to get the idea. These balls are, I mean, they're so systematically made. Just because the number 14 come up 2 weeks in a row doesn't mean it's going to come up next week. Everything is absolute, positive, random. And there's no chance of a mistake being made. Absolutely none. This is a normal or regular lotto machine. I'm going to start it, show you how it's completely random. I'm going to start the machine. Going to release the balls. They're kicking around inside the machine. It's pretty noisy. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select. Now watch how it's remotely controlled. They're going to remotely select these balls. You know, do you ever see in the paper you get somebody's advertisements about where you can buy a computerized system that's going to tell you what balls are going to come out? I mean, save your money. If you think you can get a system whereby they're going to tell you ahead of time exactly what ball is going to come out. You know, I hear these stories that the number 41, for instance, weighs more than the number 8 because there's more ink on it. That's a garbage. Put that nonsense out of your head. This is a completely random situation. It's going to kick out 6 balls and a bonus ball, which is what you see on these various state lotteries. Now the selection is over. The machine's automatically going to shut off. They've got their 6 regular balls and your bonus. That's the whole system. You know, now we're going to get into the meat of the way you play the lotto. I'm going to give you 5 different characters. Maybe you'll see yourself in these characters. Give you an idea of how they play. First one we're going to get is Random Randy. Here's a guy that he picks his numbers out of a hat. Just completely no rhyme or reason as to the way he's going to play. He picks numbers out of the air at random. He might have one of those pocket-sized computers that generate random numbers for the different lotteries, or he may just use a quick pick option at the store where he buys his tickets. He's saying, in effect, I don't care, just give me any old 6 numbers. There's nothing wrong with what Randy's doing, because since the lottery picks at random, why shouldn't he pick his numbers at random? So there's nothing wrong with it, because this is a random draw. If that's the way you do it, if you're successful, good. But I'm going to show you different ways as we go along that's going to improve the way you're going to play the numbers, and in effect, it's going to teach you how to win. Next one we're going to get to is Sentimental Susie. Sentimental Susie, there are more of these than any type lottery player in the world. These are the people who use meaningful dates, birthdays of friends, family, anniversaries, lucky numbers, number of times you cheat on her husband, as a basis for their numbers. You're always reading about these special types of winners. If that's the way you play, stay with it. But if you really want to seriously look at the ways of utilizing the number system, we're going to give you crisscrosses. We're going to give you a wheel to use. I think it's going to give you an intelligent way of handling the lottery. Let's go to the next character, Pattern Pat. Now, he's an excellent old man. He likes to make patterns with his bet slips. He'll use diagonals and horizontals and verticals. Now, because of people like Pattern Pat, certain numbers on a bet slip get more planned than would ordinarily be the case. Now, we'll talk more about this a little later in the tape when we get into the subject of popular and unpopular numbers. Remember those 2 words, popular and unpopular numbers. The next type of player is Systems Sid. Systems Sid has a system for everything he does. The first system I want to touch on is called the popular and unpopular number theory. There's a mathematics professor of management science up in the University of British Columbia. His name is Dr. Ziembra. Some of you might have heard of him. He came up with a theory to play the unpopular numbers. Now, this is what this means. Most people play the same numbers all the time, which we're going to get into, called a popular number theory. Now, I told you that you get about 48 to 50 cents return on the dollar. Now, what you're trying to do is increase the amount of the payoff you're going to get by playing what Dr. Ziembra refers to as the unpopular numbers. These are numbers that hardly anybody plays. but the return might be $1.34, $1.38, $1.40. In other words, you're getting a higher return for the amount that you invest. Now, the public stays away from these numbers, but I'm trying to tell you to play them because of the amount of money you're going to increase when you do hit. We're going to go to the popular numbers now. Think about this. The most popular number, you crapshooters will stick with me on this one here, is the number 7. It's the most popular number on the board. It can be made more than any other number on the table. Many people use the number 7. You've got the 7 wonders of the world, the 7 races of humanity, the 7 days of the week, and so forth and so on. Numbers ending with 7 also tend to be popular. Number 17, for example, that's a number that James Bond always played at the roulette table in all his films, and it's the one right in the middle of the roulette layout. People go up and they play that middle number. As we see in a minute, people are also going to like to play numbers that are in the middle of things themselves, which is another reason for the popularity of 17. People like to play multiples of 7, as you can see from the chart. Now look at that chart now, 11. There's another craps number. Ranks right up there in popularity. Now the first thing you probably notice about these popular numbers is that they tend to be lower rather than higher. Most of them are under 31 because of the sentimental Susies of the world who use dates like birthdays and anniversaries, which we went over already, as a basis for their lotto selections. Also, as I mentioned before, a lot of people play patterns. Now, with all the pattern pats of the world playing these columns and diagonals, the number in the middle of the lotto bet slip gets a lot of play. Now, if this number ever hits, there's going to be an awful lot of people disappointed who thought they were going to be millionaires because their numbers come in. But they're only going to be thousandaires because too many other people played the same combination. Let's move on to the unpopular numbers. Now, across your screen, we popped out the 10 most unpopular numbers for the 3 lotto games, the 636 game, the 640 game, and the 649. You have to realize that these rankings change from time to time, but most of the unpopular numbers hold true over the long haul. First thing you're going to notice is that the most unpopular numbers tend to be higher. In the 636 game, the 6 most unpopular numbers are over 18. In the 640 game, 7 of the top 8 numbers are over 20, and in the 649 game, 9 out of the top 10 are over 25. You see how the edge seems to go for the higher numbers? Also, you're going to notice that numbers which end in 0, 8, and 9, they seem to be less popular. Finally, there are some numbers which are just moderately unpopular, but when you put them in lotto combinations, they become very unpopular. They're hardly ever played. These numbers are 10, 29, 30, 32. So if your goal is to shoot for the highest possible return on your lottery dollar, it pays to go after these unpopular numbers, for the example, for the reasons I explained. As I said before, there's no guarantee that they're going to hit any more than, or any often, than any other set of numbers. But when they do, they give more bang for the buck. I want to give you another system. There's a computer scientist named Alan Rees who came up with this method, this theory. Him along with an author by the name of Gail Howard come up with a theory as to how they're going to pick numbers. And it has to do with the curve. Now take a look at your screen and you give me an idea as to how this curve operates. Let's say we wanted to plot a curve of all of the sums of the numbers that could be drawn in Lotto 640. Now the lowest number where the curve begins on the left of your screen would be 21. That's because the sum of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is 21. It's the lowest sum on the curve because it can only occur once. There are no other combinations that add up to 21. You know, I'm a big believer in trends. You know that by the tapes we've done on craps and blackjack and roulette, casino games, sports betting. I believe in trends. I believe they happen. So here's a little bit of information that you might find kind of interesting. You know, since the lottery started in 1978, there's been 9,000 lotteries popped out. Never has a combination 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 come in, 6 consecutive numbers. Never. In fact, if you go a little further, 6 consecutive numbers have never been drawn in all the time that the lotteries have been in effect. And that's a lot. And if you're a big believer in trends, which I am, you wouldn't buck a trend like that. And to take it one step further, 5 consecutive numbers have only come up 7 times since the lottery started. Now you think about those trends. Let's get back to the distribution curve of lottery numbers. At the other end of the curve, check it out. You've got the Lotto 640 and the number 225, and that's the sum of the 6 highest numbers in the 640. 40, 39, 38, 37, 36, and 35. Like the 21 at the beginning of the curve, there's only one way to draw the total of 225. Now, Alan Rees's computer studies showed that these sums tended to distribute themselves in the shape of a bell curve, like you see on your screen. Now, most of the sums, they're going to fall within the shaded area of the bell curve, somewhere between the sum of 100 and 140 or so. Now, of course, these distribution curves will vary by the type of lotto offered in your state. So on the screen, I put up the ranges where the sums of the winning numbers tend to fall and the target ranges you should be looking at. Now, you'll notice that we've skewed the target ranges towards the higher sums, going back to Dr. Z's unpopular number theory, which I talked about a couple of minutes ago. So what we've done here is take two ideas and combine them. We've taken the prejudices that people have about numbers and combined it with the way numbers tend to be drawn. There's nothing magic about this. It's just another idea to help you select your numbers in a more systematic way. You know, some of you people have seen my videotapes on roulette, or you've come to some of my seminars on casino games. Use the same theory that I do in roulette. For instance, I have predetermined the numbers I'm going to play on the roulette table. Now, I completely eliminate the other set of numbers that I'm never going to touch. For instance, 34, 35, and 36, 7, 8, 9, 16, and 19. I never played them. Never played them. So when you're playing lotto or lottery, either one, you're going to predetermine the groups of numbers that you're going to concentrate on. Now, suppose you say, well, I'm not going to touch any number from 1 to 10, or I'm not going to touch any number from 32 to 40, or from 23 to 29. You take sections that you're never going to concentrate on. So based on the fact that you were playing in a 640 lottery, for instance, when you allocate 10 or 12 numbers that you're never going to play, never, now you're really playing a lotto of 630. You cut down your chances that you have to hit because you don't even look at those numbers as even existing. And I do the same thing in roulette. I think it's a way I'm trying to do it's a way to get you to discipline yourself as to only concentrate on certain sections of that wheel in roulette and certain sections of the numbers that you're going to pick in lotto. Think about it. Think about these theories. Okay? Next guy we're going to talk about is Willie the Wheeler. Now, this is a strong part of the theory of picking numbers, so listen to what he's got to do. What Willie does, he's going to wheel his number selections. Now, he could be using a random number approach, the bell curve system, doesn't matter. However he gets his numbers is his own idea, his own theory. Wheeling is simply a mathematical way of playing different combinations of numbers. It's designed to give you the most efficient coverage of the numbers you have already decided to play. Remember what I said about that? Predetermining the numbers you're going to play. You know, earlier we went over the odds of winning at lotto. The odds, for instance, we'll take the 644 game. Do you know the odds against you winning is 7 million to 1? 7 million to 1. Let's go to the 649 game. 649, it's 14 million to 1. I mean, that's not such good odds. In fact, for you to get a prize, 3 numbers, 4 numbers, 5 numbers, 1 in 57 are going to get a prize. That's your chances. That's less than 2%. Your chance of winning any money. That's why I'm trying to zero in on how I'm going to give you a good, strong payoff for the numbers you pick and how to get into what is called wheeling. You know, wheeling is a method whereby you're going to increase the amount of your plays. We're going to start with a 3-number wheel, and we're going to go to the 4 and a 5 and a 6. We're going to give you more combinations. Now, obviously, based on the fact that you don't even figure to win 2% of the time, having one ticket is going to kill you. So you want to have multiple tickets, have more combinations. But then you have the law of diminishing returns. After a while, you reach a point where the amount of money you're going to spend isn't worth the amount of the prize that you could possibly win. You got to remember that. So we're going to show you up to a point as to how you're going to take a wheeling system to give you better chances of winning. Now, you're going to zero in on the numbers that you predetermined to pick. I'm going to start off with a very, very basic method of wheeling. It's going to be, for instance, on the daily lottery. We're going to take I'm going to give you 10 tickets. I'm going to show you how to wheel 3 numbers. Now, first of all, you're going to start right at the bottom. And you can use any variation off of this, but you're going to start at 0, 1, 2. That's the first 3 numbers in your wheel. Now what you do, write those 3 numbers down on a piece of paper. 0, 1, 2. Now in the next line, you write 1, 2, 3. Then the next line, you write 2, 3, 4. Then 3, 4, 5, and so on. Do you notice that you're taking the second number out of each previous line and starting the next number, the next line that you're going to bet on? So you got 0, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, all the way down the line, using up these different combinations so that when your chart is all over, the first column will number 0 through 9. The second column will number 1 through 0. And the third column, 2 through 1. And if you add it all up, you're going to get each number 3 times. Now, based on the fact that you paid 50 cents per ticket, and you took all of these combinations, all of these numbers, it's going to cost you 10 times 50 cents. You're going to have 10 different tickets for $5. If you're going to play $1 per ticket, it's going to cost you $10. Now, for you people who have a smaller bankroll, you've got every combination of the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 broken down into 10 different combinations, and it costs you $5 for that day. Now, I said before that I do not play the lottery. I didn't say I condemn people for playing it. I don't say I condone people for playing it. It's a dream. I mean, you hear about the advertisements, you need $1 in a dream. Well, that's what people have when they play the lottery. They want to make that big kill. What I'm trying to do is give you a scientific, a logical approach to playing it. So when I buy the lottery, and I buy it as a gift for someone, for my mother, for my sisters, for any friends of mine, I break this 3-wheel combination down, and I give it to them. And they have been more than compensated because there's so many combinations. So I'm no genius. And you're going to break this same combination down. Now, that's called a 3-number wheel. Let's move on to one of the most basic of all the Pick-6 wheeling systems. Now, I'm going to show you step by step how it works. This is a 7-number combination. I call it the 77 wheel because it combines 7 numbers and costs $7. If any 6 out of those 7 numbers are drawn, you're an automatic winner. If only 5 of your 7 numbers hit, you can expect to win 2 second prizes and 5 third prizes. If only 4 of your numbers hit out of the 7, you would still win 3 third prizes. Got it? I want to show you a way to develop a 77 wheel. Now take a look at the screen. First, you start with a master grid like the one you see on your screen. It has 7 boxes for each of your 7 numbers, and each box is keyed with a letter designation. Now, you can use any letters you want, but the easiest system to use is the first 7 letters of the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, so on. Now, once you've set up, you enter the 7 numbers you have decided to wheel. You pick your numbers, and you put them in the box in ascending order. The lowest number first, then the next highest, and so forth. Let's say your numbers were 21, 16, 4, 29, 28, 39, and 31. Number 4, which is the lowest number, would then go in the first box, or the A box. 16, which is the next lowest number, would go in the B box, and so on, until all 7 boxes are filled. Now you're going to develop 7 6-number combinations simply by substituting numbers in a systematic, precise way. For the first one, you eliminate the A box, so your keys are B, C, D, E, F, and G. And your number combination is 16, 21, 28, 29, 31, and 39. Your next combination, you drop the B box and replace it with the A, like so. And your numbers become 4, 21, 28, 29, 31, and 39. If you don't catch this, go back over it again, and then catch up with me. For the remaining 5 boxes, you follow the same procedure. You can do exactly the same thing with an 8-number wheel, except in this case, you're going to end up with 28 different combinations. Incidentally, all of these examples are covered in a booklet that came with your video. I'm going to run through the 828 wheel quickly for you. But if you don't understand exactly what I'm saying, take a look at this booklet. It's all broken down for you. Again, we're going to start with the master grid and enter your 8 numbers. Let's say they're 4, 16, 21, 23, 27, 30, 34, and 40. Then you go through the same procedures you did with the 7-number wheel, except in this case, you lop off 2 key boxes at a time. Look at the first one. You eliminate the A and B boxes. The second one, you eliminate the A and the C boxes and bring back the B. You keep on following that pattern until you end up with 28 different combinations, like you see coming up on your screen. You're just going to keep lopping off 2 boxes at a time until you've gone through the complete cycle. Now, when you're finished, you're going to end up with a wheel where each of your 8 numbers are represented 21 times. Read that now. 21 times those 8 numbers are covered. Now, out of the 28 different combinations, that's what they mean when they refer to a balance. Okay, you've heard me talk about the wheeling the 8 numbers, and I can hear most of you saying right now, this guy crazy, I'm not laying out $28 for a day's play at the lotto. And I agree with you. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but I'm trying to give you an intelligent approach as to wheeling. You know, let's move on to another 8-number system. It's called 8 into 3, but for lottery players with a small weekly budget, I think this might be pretty popular. Let's use the same 8 numbers that we had before, 4, 16, 21, 23, 27, 30, 34, and 40. But this time we're going to wheel them into only 3 combinations, a $3 play. Now here's how this works. You end up with a wheel where every number in your group is covered at least twice, and 2 of them, the 4 and the 40, are covered 3 times. Now you can change the triple coverage number simply by adjusting your elimination pattern, and you're still going to keep the same kind of balance. But I'm going to use it from the way I broke it down for you with the previous example. Yeah, let's talk about when you should wheel and when you shouldn't. You know, I showed you the three-number wheel. That's Snap City. I don't give a rat's tail if this is a method you're going to use, but this is a good basic approach. But you notice that when you get into the higher numbers, you can wheel 8 numbers, 9, 10, 11. Then it gets ridiculous for the amount of money you have to lay out. The time you wheel is when it's in line with your bankroll. With the simple methods I've just shown you, you can take, like I said, any one of these numbers. But then it starts to get very expensive when you go beyond 8 numbers. When you get to 9 or more numbers, you have to ask yourself whether you're getting any real value for the amount of money you're putting at risk. I say no. In fact, at the 9 through 12 level, it's outright ridiculous. The combination of betting yields a lot of prizes if you win, but your chances of winning are so small because you still don't have that many numbers covered. You've only got a couple of numbers, remember that. Now, to give you an example, let's say you were crazy enough to play a 19-number wheel. This would cost you $27,132 for an equivalent number of combinations. Now, your chance of winning something, anything, any prize at all, is 42.9%. That's less than 50%. And it still costs you $27,000. But that's not bad enough. Here's the kicker. Your chance of breaking even is only 14.8%, which means there's an 85% chance you're going to lose money on that play. Let's look at it a different way. What are you going to gain in odds by wheeling 7 or 8 numbers? We're going to throw out the 9 number and higher because it's just illogical to play like that. With the 77 wheel in a 640 lotto game, for example, you reduce the odds against you from almost 4 million to 1 to a little over 500,000 to 1. In Lotto 649, the odds drop from almost 14 million to 1 to under 2 million to 1. The same kind of thing happens when you wheel 8 numbers. The odds drop even more dramatically from almost 4 million to 1 against to under 150,000 to 1. But don't forget, it's going to cost you a lot more to improve your odds. You have to lay out $28 for this wheel. That's the 8-number wheel. You don't want to risk that much money on what is essentially a real long shot proposition anyway. Just remember what I've said to you. I've cut your chances of losing down from 7 million way down. You've still got to backed against a wall with a gun at your throat. But what I'm trying to do is reduce your chances of losing. But in the beginning, you have to realize what your chances were to win going in. Okay? You know, I'm a very conservative player. You should know that by the people that listened to me talk before or watched a TV show. Very conservative. So I want you to win. I don't care how much you win, but it's more important that you win. So some of the systems we've given you are maybe a little bit aggressive for the normal person. We're going to get very conservative now. I'm going to give you a system called the 812 system. Now take a look at your screen and catch the theory behind this method. You're going to start with an 8-number master grid like the one you see on the screen. Now you're going to insert your numbers. Let's use 5, 9, 16, 23, 30, 31, 38, 48. Now, for your individual combinations, you eliminate not 1 but 2 letter boxes per step. You keep following this method as you see on the screen until all 12 boxes are filled. Now, when all 12 combinations have been completed, each number in your master grid will get exactly 9 plays. Now, with this wheel, if you hit all 6 winning combinations in your wheeled combinations, you not only win the jackpot, but you could also win 4 second prizes and 7 third prizes. Now, 5 numbers hit. You win at least 1 second prize, and you may win as many as 3 second prizes plus 3 third prizes. Next method, I think you might like this. It's another way of cutting down the amount of money you're going to lay out, which I'm sure you like that. It gives you a number of combinations, a lot of combinations, in fact, and it's called the key number system. Now, the theory behind this is you're going to have a number that you're going to key on. If that one number comes in, you've got a head start towards a payoff. Now, watch how the key number system works. Look at your screen. And this method is based on the premise that statistically in a 649 lotto game, you can expect to get one of your numbers right once in 1.4 plays, or 41.3% of the time. The percentages get a little better in lotto games where the total number pool is lower, like Lotto 636 and Lotto 640. But they're still going to be against you. However, if you do hit, it gives you a better shot at catching some type of a prize. Let me show you how this works with 7 numbers. I'm going to call the system the K76 because what you're going to do is you're going to take 7 numbers and wheel it into 6. Now the cost is small, prohibitive, $6 for this move. That's why I think you're going to like it. All right. Once again, you start with your master grid, which looks like this. In any case, we're going to assume that your key number is 17. Let's say that's your key number. your other numbers are going to be 1, 12, 23, 28, 42, and 43. Naturally, if the number 17 should appear in each of your 6-game combinations, you've got yourself a prize. You've got yourself a head start towards a prize. Then you follow the same kind of elimination pattern that we went over earlier in this tape. Eliminate the A in the first combination, the B in the second, the C in the third, and so forth until all your 6 combinations are complete. Now we're still staying with the double key theory. We're going to swing 10 numbers into 14 combinations. You know, before we wrap up the wheeling situation, we're going to give you one more approach. It's very versatile. You're going to use 3 key numbers, and you can swing it into the 7 lotto or the pick 5 lotto. You can use this many different ways. So for you aggressive players, look at this 3 key number system. Okay? Just like the 2 key number wheel, you start with your 3 key numbers. Let's say they're 7, 18, and 23, and you bang them in. Then you enter the remaining 5 numbers. In this example, we'll say 6, 19, 31, 40, and 47. Now you're going to follow the same elimination pattern as before, dropping the A, B boxes, then the A, C, then the A, D, then the A, E. Then you start to cycle over with the B series on top until all 10 combinations are complete. Now to use this method for the Pick 7 or Super 7 lottery, you just add 1 key number. For Pick 5 lotto games, you just drop 1 key number. You know, I've just touched the very tip of the iceberg when I talk about wheeling, but I think you get the idea, or I hope you get the idea, of how the wheeling process works. You know what you could do is get together with your friends. Take this seriously, the theory of gambling, which you should anyway, but even a lotto. You get together, you pool your money. You come up with your theories on wheeling. You pick the kind you want to use, the 2 key numbers or 1 key number, or whatever you come up with, the 3-number system, which I like, very conservative. And then you're going to put all of your ideas together and come up with a patented way that you're going to play the lotto. Now we come to the most important part of the whole tape. It's called money management. This is the key part of whether you're going to win or lose. Suppose we're just talking about the daily lottery right now. Now you're going to put this theory attached to any way you play, but we're talking about the daily lottery. You're going to allocate an amount of money that you're going to play with. It's called bankroll. You've heard me talk before about bankroll, knowledge, money management, and discipline, the 4 things you need to logically gamble. Now, bankroll is an amount of money you're going to set aside that week for the lotto or the lottery, whatever. Suppose it's $25. That means you've got $5 a day to play with. If it's $30 you set aside, you get $6 a day. If it's $60, you got $12 a day to set aside. Now, we've got $25 that you're going to play in the lotteries. So whatever system you use, on Monday, you bet $5. Suppose you lose. Tuesday, you bet $5. And suppose you win on Tuesday. Suppose you kick off a profit of $36. That means you have $36 as your profit for Tuesday. On Wednesday, you're going to bet $5 plus a proportionate amount of your profit. Now, you never bet more than half of what you won the day before. So if you won $36, you break it in half, you put $18 in your pocket. And you can bet any percentage of that $36. You could bet the whole $18 plus the predetermined $5 on Wednesday, which would give you $23. Now, let's see, that's 18 and 5, 23. That's right. You got $23 that you're going to bet on Wednesday. Or you could take 1/2 of the $36 profit from the day before and take $18 that you're going to spread equally over Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So now you're going to have $11 that you're going to bet on Wednesday. And if you win on Wednesday, you will bet the previous $11 for Thursday plus 1/2 of the profits you won on Wednesday. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm trying to break down the amount of money you're going to allocate per week, and I'm going to put that based on each day that you're going to play. And you increase the amount of plays you're going to make, the amount of tickets you're going to take, based on whether you won the day before. I hope you learned something from the tape. I hope you win a lot of money. In fact, I hope you win a little bit of money. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you do what I tell you. Name of the game is winning. Hope you have happy winnings.
Today, millions of Americans are caught up in the excitement of the casino life, the anticipation of a big jackpot, the feeling of power that comes over you when the dice are rolling your way. Yet out of all these millions of players, only a handful really know what they're doing. One of these men is John Patrick. John Patrick is a professional gambler, author, and host of his own national TV show. His full-length, in-depth videos have helped thousands of casino players win at craps, blackjack, video poker, roulette, even slots. Shot in Atlantic City, These easy-to-follow tapes cover everything from the basic fundamentals and strategy for the novice to sophisticated money management and hedging techniques for the advanced player. Now, John Patrick introduces his sports handicapping series, football and horse race handicapping. Plus, the first in a brand new series, the Lottery Video. Now you can start playing Lotto the smart way. Patrick believes that expert knowledge, discipline, and strict money management are the keys to success. He offers no miracle systems, no instant riches. Just sensible, practical advice on how you can reduce the house edge and become a more consistent winner.
You know, you've seen these tapes. You've heard me talk about them before. People say, well, you made these tapes to make money. Yeah, maybe I did. But I'll tell you, I'm not going to take the information to the grave with me. It's going to make you money. They're the best tapes on the market. I don't give a rat's tail if you like the systems or you don't. You follow them, and you're going to win money. Okay?
Each tape in the 19-volume series is $39.95, except slots and lottery, which are only $19.95. Buy 3 for $99 and pay only $33 each. To order, call toll-free 1-800-283-4411. Visa, MasterCard, American Express accepted. Operators are standing by. Call now 1-800-283-4411.